Check one. Hey, I think I'm here. Give it just a minute here to warm me up, pour a cup of tea, and I'm with you. Top of the morning to you. I'm Michael. Grandkids call me Roo. That's because I am Roo. I mean, look at my hair, right? Thanks for being on the show today. It's Saturday, February the 3rd. Day after the day I don't celebrate, that would be Groundhog Day. Like, do you think I'm going to depend on a marmot, a varmint, a rodent to predict the weather? No. Okay. Not going to happen. Hey, glad you're on the show today. I'm going to say hello to a few of you, and then I've got a few things that I just made notes on that we're going to celebrate today, and they all have to do with art. Who would have thunk it? And then I'm going to show you something that I discovered through a friend and that I worked on just recently, and then yesterday I made something new out of it. Was it yesterday? No, it was the first. It was the first day of my wife's birthday. I figured it out. No, I think it was. Yes, it was. It was the first. Okay, so here we go. Let me say hello to some of you. And I love that piece of music, huh? Is that not fun? I don't know where it's doing where you are, but I've actually seen the sunshine today, and it looks like it might be sunny all day, which is a first. We've been in and out, but it's cool, hot, cool, hot, cool, hot. It gives everybody the sniffles. I got them already, which is what happens to me. Morning, Karen Binder, Bender, Cinder, Donna Sell Barton. Thanks for being on the show. Skeeter Pal. Skeeter Pal just sent me a little text photo, and I'll show it to you a little later this morning. I don't think I'll forget it. It has to do with some bees, and so that'll be kind of fun. Marlene Davis, thanks for being on the show from cloudy Rhode Island. You know, if you're on an island and you're close to the ocean, you should have a cloud or two in the sky. I'm drinking some Builder's tea today. I'm drinking Builder's Typhoon, and I'm back. I went back to try an old tea that I haven't tried in 22 years. No kidding, 22 years. I don't know if I can remember to tell you what it is, but I will tell you in a minute. They've come out with a stronger version of themselves. That's good when you're a stronger version of yourself. Dorothy Beasley, thanks for being on the show. Gene Anthalzer, Gene Jimerson Anthalzer, Denise Albright, always good to have you on the show from out there where you take the Exeter in California. Jennifer Yentz from Frosty, Indiana. Maggie Carnahan. From Culpeper. I would just want to have that on my job description that I grew up in Culpeper. But I always cull peppers from anything that I'm cooking because they bother me later. Alice Durham, thanks for being on the show. Says upstate Boiling Springs. I love that. Boiling Springs, if I'm not mistaken, in Boiling Springs, the Appalachian Trail crosses through there. North Carolina has a Boiling Springs, so does South Carolina. But one of those has the Appalachian Trail that crosses through. I think North Carolina for sure. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a great little place. There's a good little coffee shop there where the trail crosses the highway. Not that I've ever hiked the Appalachian Trail. It's 2,200 and something miles, but I videoed and interviewed a friend who was hiking the Appalachian Trail. And she broke the world's record in 2012 of hiking it faster than any human in the world. Speed hiking, like really? That's a thing? But she was a fascinating lady, and she's still out talking about it today. Gorgeous, gorgeous piece of property from Maine to Georgia. Lori Stanley Hendelmeyer Henderson, thank you. Glad to have you on the show. Miss Carla Hardwick managed to join a Saturday show. Oh my gosh, she's here. She's here in person. The duck painter herself. Andy McBean, thanks for being on the show. Evelyn Davis Morales. Wow, good morning. Soggy California coast. Laura Abbott, thanks for being on from Ohio. June Jones, appreciate your sense of humor being on. Linda Schleitning, always from beautiful Ohio. Jennifer Cayley, I think I mentioned your name some, but I see Caley. I hope that's Cayley. James O. Ward Jr., love it. Laura Abbott. Jennifer Cayley. Oh, I did it again. See there? Now I mentioned it twice. Bob, I just thought of you this morning because I found the bobbers. Yeah, they're here on my desk. Let me see if I can go to picture in picture. There it is right there. There they are right there. It wasn't that they were lost, but Bob painted these bobbers. I asked Bob if he would sign this like this. Bob painted these bobbers, and it's going to go up on my wall over there. I just wanted him to sign it that way. Hey, who painted these bobbers? Well, look at the painting. It says Bob painted these bobbers. That's what I wanted when people come to my studio. Let's see. Linda Linhart is on this morning. Pat Lightbody, good to see you. And Ruth Ann Godey so far have joined us. So here's what we got. Look at this big old chunk of paper I have lying here. You know, mostly I have a 5.5 by 9.5 Kilimanjaro cold pressed, 100% cotton. It's the original bright white, my favorite paper. I'm just going to say it right now, dadgummit. Here's why. It's consistent. It makes me more consistent. Sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. But I know what I'm getting when I get to it. And I know how my paint, my water, I know how my brush responds to this paper. So that's why I use this paper. I also love it because it's bright white. And so it makes my style of watercolor pop. There. As my email just popped. Okay, so you see, take notes sometimes. Not that I'm smart, but just that you'll remember when you buy one of these or you buy this style of paper, buy two. So you can practice on one and go, no, yes, maybe, closer, and then tuck those away, throw them away, make scrap paper out of them. Put them in the recycle bin. Rabbit trail, they're bunny trail, they're gone. And then use the other one to say, I'm going to work on the finished piece here. And I like the way this paper works because I know what it works like. Everybody does this, and I'm going to ask that you, I can't be bold and dogmatic and say stop. But if you are, it's going to slow your process down if you're doing this. If you buy a good paper that costs, this paper is going to cost me $20-something. Maybe if you're using a higher brand paper, it's going to cost you $35 or $40. And you're going to go, that's a lot of money to just buy and throw away. Not if you're going to be an artist and you're going to sell a painting, and one painting or two paintings or three paintings might equal what you've paid in paper. Come on, figure it out a little bit. So my point is this: buy two of the same. Because here's what people do. They buy one where they splurge a little bit, and then they go somewhere and they buy paper that, as my dad could say, you could read through a wet newspaper. And it's different. It's like, here's what I'll do. I'll practice on this paper here. Look at this piece of paper. It's a piece of, it's beautiful paper, by the way, if you paint on rice paper. But if you don't paint on rice paper and you don't use bamboo brushes and some sort of sumi ink to paint on this, watercolors are going to soak up on this like a paper towel. And so you go, no, that's fine. I'll use this to practice on. And then so you use more water, you use more paint, or you use less. And then when you get to this, it's completely different. So practice on what you finalize your paintings on. Just do that and watch what happens. So for me, I have stuck with this paper since I started it. I bought it originally not knowing how good it was. I was in Boone at Cheap Joe's Art, and I found this was years and years and years ago when my son was a student there. And the one I bought, of course, is the one that's probably laying here in my other booklet somewhere. I don't know what I've done with it, but it's always close by. Here it is, right here. I'm going to grab it just so you can see it. Still in the wrapper. There it is. This one's still in the wrapper. And look, this was $16.69. Okay, so get it on sale sometimes. This is the size that I bought. Why? Because I was always on the move, and I wanted to learn small, and I wanted to start quick and small and fast, and read Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, and you'll know all the reasons that I start small, I start quickly, I start fast. It lets my art surprise me, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Make a note. When's the last time that you have let your art, allowed your art, or been surprised by your art? When's the last time? If you haven't let your art surprise you in a while, then you're probably hunkered down somewhere in the dim light of night with a little brush going, oh, I thought I did this better last time. That's great if you have in your painting commissions and you're painting lots of paintings to get out there, but you'll finish in a while and you'll go, I think I need a masseuse. I need a person behind me to constantly go crack my back. So sometimes I just let my art surprise me. And out of those discoveries, out of those mistakes, out of those difficult times that I have to solve something. Solving makes us more creative. Problem solvers makes us more creative in art. I promise you it does. I've never read it. I've never seen anybody do a report on it, but I'll just tell you this. If you want to make art, go put things together and you go like, well, that doesn't work. What if I put it over here? Ooh, I like that better. No, wait, this looks better. No, that's too centered. Go here. So you problem solve and you make art. So this is what I bought first because it fit in my bag. I wanted smaller brushes because they fit in my bag. I wanted a small palette because it fit in my bag. Everybody had palettes this big. What did I reach for? I reached for that one, or I reached for my small little box, and I said, why can't I put paint in something this small? Every week when I give away a painting, several times this week, because we were out for birthday dinners and events, someone said, I don't understand where you got that. And I said, at CVS. Back about many years ago, it's an Altoid box, and I ate all the Altoids. Actually, I got tired of eating them. I just dumped the rest of them out. And then I put little half pans in here, and I squeezed my paint in it, and that's what I paint with. My paint, all my supplies are on my Roodoodles. Someone said they were having a hard time downloading it last night. I will look at that online. I got an email that said, hey, it's not downloading. I know you have to put an email in, but last year I sent one email to you. So you're not going to get any mass amount of emails from me, right? Because I'm like, good luck finding me to throw a dart at me. I'm like the balloon at the wind's blowing at the county fair. I just made that up. I like that saying. I might keep it. All right. So this is what I wanted to travel with. Today I got a bigger piece, so let's get into it here. If I got any questions. There you go. One of the reasons I like doing art challenges, it makes me outside the box, Denise Albright says. Yes, that's true. Art is your happy place. Of course, it better be. Beverly Schmidt, welcome from Greenville. I got a little painting from Greenville I want to show you here in just a second. Just jumped in to say howdy from the Waffle House. Billy Grooms, my dear old musical friend from way back when. I almost missed that quote, so I was so glad I saw you there. I was on my soapbox ramp this morning as I started, Billy. Billy and Mark Langston and Billy Grooms are two guys that bailed me out of the fire more than one time. Seriously, those guys were the musicians that I probably should have been and wasn't. I had enough ability to sing and carry a tune. I had horrible rhythm. I played my guitar like Neil Diamond. Sometimes Neil just held his guitar. It was more of a prop. He could set his coffee cup on it while everybody else was going, on August night, and the leaves on the ground and the grass on the ground. When those guys came in to help me travel around the Southeast some and do some concerts, they brought in the musical element. They were just dear men. I love them. And we have just a great history. Sometimes we'll just catch up on a song. One of them will text me something or a bad pun. And so blessings to you, my dear friend. And Billy, one of us needs a haircut. I haven't seen you in a long time, but I'm just kidding. Dear friends, I love it when you pop on here. So I'm passing through Greenville, South Carolina back in November. Had a conference there with the local church staff. I went down to just be a part of that. I do some consulting work with them, and I wanted to see some friends at David's Table, and I said, hey, I'm passing through town and I missed your camp. Could I come to your art class? They do it on Thursdays. They call it art because that's how the young lady that they work with pronounces it. She goes, you understand, it's art. And so they put those exclamation points on there, and that's how you have to say it when you're there. Welcome to art. And I like it. It's the emphasis there. And so I dropped by, found them, and they had, my gosh, must have been 30 people sitting at these tables they'd pulled together, and they welcomed me, and I got to go around and say hi to everybody. And sometimes they make the table, with a gap in it, so a certain wheelchair will fit this way, or it's all tall enough for their chairs to come in. And so this is a great group of people. It's called David's Table. And, sometimes in the past, we've done some fundraising auctions for them to get their folks to camp. It's a disabilities organization. They work with folks who are, a lot of organizations who work with disabilities. There's a time where, like in the foster home situation, when you turn 18 and you're not adopted, we'll see you. And that's a tough thing to do. There's a lot of ministries that's just what they have to do. That's all they can handle. And that's just how our world is made. And it's not a bad thing about them. It's just how it's made. But Skeeter and his group with David's Table, they pick those folks up at 18 or older and say, hey, we're walking with you till Jesus takes you out of here. We got you. We'll help you. And so those are the most servant staff of people that I've ever seen. Well, Carol and I have done a retreat with them. Y'all know we went to that retreat. Well, I dropped in one day and just real quick said, hey, I've got an hour before I'm supposed to be in my meeting in Greenville. I got an hour and a half. And so I got an hour with you here. Let's go. And let's paint something that I know how to paint it quickly. No surprise to me, but it may be a surprise to you. How do you paint a bee? And somebody said, I don't know. And I said, let me show you. His behind looks like a light bulb. I've done this with you guys. He's always on his way to get, someone said honey or nectar. Go, yeah, it's nectar. Where does he get it? Flowers. Okay, so his back looks like a flower, and then his head looks like a coffee bean to me. So I painted those things, and lo and behold, showing them how to do it, I painted this bee who's about this big on a big piece of paper, and I left it for him. And in art, they've been painting some bees, and I got to show you this picture that popped into my box this morning. There it is right there. Take a look at some of these bees. Come on. And I love it, too, that somebody just said, oh, did you say paint bees? I'm not doing that. I'm painting a fish. Which reminds me of my first class that I ever went to where Liam Zinn said, oh, Mr. Looster Painter, you like my class today. We paint fish. See, there's a connection in every story. But look at these bees. Come on. Does this not just warm your heart? I mean, get out of here. Hey, Jack Wolfenberger, I see you just popped up on the show. Would you send me at Roodoodles at gmail.com right there? Would you send me your address? I have a little, you popped off the show one day. I have a little painting for you that I wanted to gift you. Would you please send that to me, please? I would love it, love it, love it. Send me your address. Here's the bees one more time. Don't you just love those? Come on, people. Think about taking what you know and going to a group of people this spring somewhere and just sitting down with 4 or 5 people and say, hey, let me show you how to paint that. Let's paint some fruit. Let's paint some apples. Let's paint a bee. Let's paint and I'm at, today I'll paint a bee on this show maybe, and it'll be 1,300. I'm at 1,299. I painted my 1,299th last night. And Norman Thayer, who wrote on Golden Pond. And then I'm going to do my 1,300th one today. And so, anyway, it's kind of fun. So, thanks. Thank you guys, man. Love it, love it, love it when you all send me stuff like that. And it has somewhere where I've been or something seen. Just love it. So, and those are priceless pieces of art. And Skeeter, I like the way Jacqueline spelled it there. You see that? She did a capital T on the end. You guys are that's going to have to be on your T-shirt right there. See that? AR with a capital T and then the exclamation. All right. I'd love to have peeps join me in New York City for some building sketch. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, man. And speaking of building sketch, okay, so here we go. Let your art surprise you. Here we go. Let me go back. Let me find my page here. I've got one, I promise. It says heads up somewhere. There's the desk. There's the PIP right there. Okay, when you're your own producer. So I did surprise myself this week, and I want to show you something. Today's Saturday morning, so in just a little bit, I'm going to paint I'm going to take out some watercolor, liquid watercolor, which I found at Cheap Joe's also back in the days, and I've always kept a few bottles around. Every now and then on this Saturday, I'll put on a piece of music and I'll just drop water. And I don't even think I'm going to sketch today. I think I'm just going to put the ink on here and let the rooster see where it shows up. And so I'm going to do that. But first, I want to show you what I did for Carol's birthday card. And this is something that you could do. Tom, up in Boston, the Lobster Art, sent me a note 6-8 months ago, and it was wrapped around a little stick. It was inside of a piece of art that I got from him, and it was a cash register piece of tape like this. You know what I'm talking about? Here's one of these, just like this. There, just like that. That's what it was. It's hard paper to paint on, but you know it takes ink because we all sign it and write on it. It's receipts, it prints, goes to a printer. So Tom sent me a note, and I went, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And so one day I rolled a couple of pieces off, and I was traveling somewhere. I think I was on an airplane, and I painted the little scene that I did. Some of you might remember it. I'm going to get it and show it to you. It's stuck on my wall, and most of the water now has taken the curl out, but here it is right here. This is the little scene that I did. Let me see if I can pull in my camera here so you can see this. And then let me go for a focus. All right, this will be kind of fun here. All right, so what we have here is a failure to communicate. What we have here is... There's a little boat. You can see a buoy, and then you see the cable going down. And those of you who live up there know you anchor your lobster traps like this. But what else we see is we see a cage up here on this boat with the door open. And this lobster has jumped out with some bolt cutters from the boat's toolbox. I have to narrate the story. And then he's heading down. He's heading down. He's heading down. Down. There's a jellyfish. There's a couple of the fish. There's a something. I don't know what that is. And then suddenly you see him near the bottom because there's something here. And so there is another little lobster, and he's trying to break out of the cage, and it says, help, help, hurry, get the bolt cutters from the boat. What did you say? Hep, hep, hep. Hey, it has an L in it. Get me the L out of here. Okay, so for a man who doesn't curse, that's pretty fun. And so that's what I did. I did this little cartoon on this strip of paper, and my friends over at Hands Create said, this business handed my wife, they run this little art business for teaching kids, and she said they handed my wife like a basket full of these. I said, well, give me one and I'll do something with it. So here is my wife's birthday card from this year, and I just thought of this the morning of her birthday, and I came up here. Happy birthday, okay? 50 of these years that we've had together, we've joyed and experienced joy. We walked in God's work that He's made for us, and you've been a light. So here's what it is, and here's where we lived. And look, Jason, you'll appreciate this. There's Windy Gap. There's a little mountain scene. Let me focus this better here. All right, there's a little mountain scene, there's a little landscape, there's a little lake and the buildings in there. Then we moved to Atlanta for a while. And so easy to find a little Atlanta landscape somewhere. So with my 05 Pentel pen, and then, or maybe here to Ponte Vedra Beach. There's a little shark out there, and this is Carol doing what we call her shark hunting pose. She just bends over and walks with her hands, or one's down. She finds shark's teeth. We have a glass jar here that has, and it's in the shape of a fish, of course. There's 12,000 and some odd hundred shark's teeth in it. Then we moved to Charlotte. And then here's a happy day from some of the people that helped me, that you've pushed me into, because she got me started in art. Happy day. And then I'm not that old fashioned. I usually do a shrimp cocktail, but here he is with an old fashioned. And a toast to you. No toast for her. She gets a croissant. To you, and always consider the birds. She's always throwing what's left of the crumbs out to the birds. But really, I don't want the toast. I really want lobster bisque or chicken bolognese from the Little Blue Hens. And you are a bon vivant, self-proclaimed, and she has a bon vivant society where she dubs people with a wooden spoon. It's a pretty fun thing. And then I said, I love you so much. How about next year in Jerusalem's out because of what's going on. It'll probably be a year and a half or two before we get there. It's next year in Paris. And so I want to go to Paris again and paint in a different way because I've improved since I was there before. The first time I was in Paris, I was just really, I was learning to paint. The second time that I was just there a day, two. And the next time I was in Paris, I was there for a few days, and we painted all over France, actually. And then I want to go back and I want to watch artists, and I want to paint, and I want to be surprised by art. So that's kind of where I'm going this morning. Be surprised by art. I got some facts I want to throw out at you, and then I want to paint. So get yourself a piece of this and just break off a piece. Here's what I do with it. I clip a clothespin to this end. See that? And then I just let that end dangle, and I start it right here. And remember what I said I start with? An 05 pintail. Maybe it looks like this one here. And it's so easy to just do a little mountain scene on there, just like this. Look at that, how it just paints, and before you know it, you're done. And you do a couple little buildings down here like this, and you're finished. Grab your paint, and maybe I did this one because I was sitting at my breakfast table downstairs. I just grabbed my little brush like this. I pulled a little bit of purple. I pulled it in like this. By the way, this will, if you work quickly, this will actually bleed a little bit still. Coming in with a little green on the lower part of these mountains here. Just pull a little green in like this. Got a paper towel. Always said I had one hanging by. Here it is right here. Hanging by, so I just keep my little brush, my paint's clean. Come in like this. Grab a little more blue just right in here. Grab a little brown here to bring down the roads. And then suddenly a little water up here with just a touch of blue. Get my sky or maybe just a cloud in there. And I suddenly have just painted the little scene. And then that's what I start with. And then I'll just do my little arrows down. It's very much sketch noting, like I'm always teaching people to do. And then we go to the next one. And then there's the cityscape. And so I do the cityscape. And maybe this was Atlanta. Atlanta has a Polaris that kind of comes around like this. And they have one high building that's kind of round. So I'm going to put that one right here. And then put in this. Jason is so good at cityscapes and says, let's go draw the city. He loves that so much. So for you, look at this. You just do this, and then all I got to do now is take these and just box them in a little bit. I don't have to do much, but if I did want some color in there, I can bring it in with just a little bit of this, or maybe a little bit of night light in this building here. And maybe it's got just in the foreground some green here, like you do when you... Okay. All right, so there's my little cityscape. So you see? And then I can come back once it dries and come back and put in a different little elevator shaft or some more windows, or here, pieces off the side. Put a little 3D action here, a little more dark on this side just to throw some contrast in there like so. And so suddenly I have started this process for someone who moved here, moved here, moved here. Tell their story on a card, people. Oh my gosh. Now don't go, hey, don't buy a bunch of stuff and have ink all over. Just go see if you can talk some store shop out of giving you one of those for free somewhere. And yeah, they're out there. Guys change them all the time because they're about to run out. And even on one, it just has a little bit on it. You know, the guy yesterday had a box full of these 2 days ago at this little place where I picked up some falafel and tabbouleh salad for Carol, part of her birthday. I just feed her well on this. I don't cook. And he had a box of these, and I said, he said, oh, those are the old ones. We just switched over to a new printer receipt machine. I'm going like, oh, really? What are you doing with all those? He goes, oh, guys will carry them out. I'm going like, oh, no, you don't. So I told him where to give them. I already have, I don't need 5 more laying here. Okay, so painted on it last night, Laura Abbott says. Fantastic. Good for you. Love it, love it, love it. Kilimanjaro is my natural white, is my favorite. Yeah, if you love natural white and that's your style, go for it. Love that. Here we go. Man, almost half the hour here, and I've been telling you stuff, but I've been telling you stuff that I think is important to you. Here's what I've learned about art today. It's good for the brain. Did you know a study that was done with about 20,000 people in Britain? Maybe that's because they had a lot of cheese in their... or a fish in their system. I don't know. You know what? I think I came in here today without water. That's going to be sad, isn't it? Yikes. Let's see how creative I can be. That could be interesting. All right. And I could get up and go, but that wouldn't be kind, would it? All right. I had two paintings here I wanted to show you. One was the little Valentine that I did yesterday that sold last night. I'm going to do 3 Valentines this year. That one sold. This was, I showed you a picture of this last week from Ann's gallery, one of my favorite paintings, and I just had snapped a photograph, and this is what I remember of it. It was on a cutting board, and it was just some radishes. And so this is just on simple 5x7 watercolor paper. This is Fluid 100 5x7. And it's not as bright as I want it, but I started it. And so trying to get my art to surprise me. 20,000 people, over 20,000 people took this survey, and they realized that art was a healing force in their life. It didn't matter their age, their social status, their income, their job descriptions, who they were. If they had painted something or sketched something or done something creative, even gone to a concert or played a musical instrument or done something, if they do that at least several times a year, they seem to be in better spirits. Those who pour themselves into that, if you don't let it like be playing golf and you're frustrated with it all the time, and you do that, you're trying to let it you're not letting it surprise you. You're pushing yourself too much to be great, and you're worried about what everybody else thinks, and that's what stops artists a lot of times. And so that's kind of the sad part of that for me, is that you suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this because what if somebody doesn't like it? And I'll go, who cares if those people don't like it? All right? Who cares? All right? Found some great stats. There's one more that I wrote down this morning as we talk about let your art surprise you. Art has been a part of every culture on the planet since creation in some form or fashion. Think about it. You've either made something or wrote something or played something or sketched something or drawn something, and what does it do? It makes roads to people. It connects people. It helps you healthfully. There's a new book out. Some of these are little excerpts from her book, and I don't have it, and I'll probably find it. It says Your Brain on Art, and it's by Susan, I think it's Magneamus. I messed up her name, but that's what happens when you were a doctor and not an artist first. So be willing to be surprised and do something to let your art surprise you today. So I think that's a pretty important thing that you could probably do. This is a rooster. Look at it. You already see it. See, that's kind of how my brain works. I played Andy earlier, didn't I? All right, so here we go. Two ways to do this. One is you put the water on first and drop this in. The other is I feel like I haven't done this like this in a while, where I put the paint in and then just let the water kind of, well, here's why I'm doing this today. It sounds like I knew what I was doing. I don't have a whole lot of water here, do I? Where's my blue? Is that blue or black? I think that's blue. We'll find out in a minute. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little bit of water here. And man, I have this is it. Look at this in my jar here. That's it. That's like a drip. All right. So I'm just going to come in here and do his waddles just like this. There we go. And I'll do his, just being surprised by this piece of art. Something as simple as water would stop watercolor painting. Nah, not in my case. Okay, so I'm gonna need a bigger brush. This is just too tiny a brush. Let's go ahead and let's pull a bigger brush. Let's pull let's get a Japanese brush today, maybe a number 3. Here we go, watch this. All right. Now, just shake a little bit of water out here, just like this. Just kind of let it just shake out. I'm going to drop some. Just drop some from your brush if you want to, or just let it go anywhere. That's going to give me the water that I need to do the feathers. Look at that. Ooh, don't you love that? That's really cool. All right. Let's go with a little bit of green and blue. I need some green there. I got that right there. Just a little yellow and the blue in there. Going to get the green I need to bring that in. Look at this stroke right here that just happened. That's a surprise, and I love it much. It looks like it's rolling. It looks like the back is rolling over. I didn't plan it. Didn't know it was going to happen that way, but love it. I need a little bit of black right in here. I'm going to load off here and come in and put just, oh, it's blue, but I'll take it. There's black down here probably. Come in like this. Want a little more yellow right here. I need a little bit of brown, so that means I'm going to have to go get myself a little bit of red right here, just one touch of red. I'm going to come in right on this green right there, just a little bit of that, and see if I can come in and get myself a little bit of brown going here, just somewhere like this. That's going to be a little bit of beigey brown that comes out. It's more of a red, but I think I can probably create that with a little touch of, let's see, I don't want to lighten it up too much. Actually, I would love for that yellow, that green to come in more to it. Let me get some green right here, bring it back in here. Oh, that's what I'm searching for right there. A little more green to come in. Just put a little more in that. I'm going to grab a little bit of yellow down here on the bottom of it. Man, I am flat out of water. I love that. Okay, so I'll just have to deal with it. Come in here with a little bit of this yellow and put it with this brown. I'm just picking it up from his beak right here because I put some extra there. Coming down here, look at that. That's actually looking good. See this? I'm being surprised by what the color in my eye is pulling out. So that's a pleasant surprise to me. Now I'm going to come in here and do his feet right here. There's a toe. Come back and get some more of that. Let's create another one right here. This is the middle toe. It's a little longer. He's walking in the dirt today. There's that foot. Look at that. See how light and airy that is right there and how it works? It just flat out works, people. I'm going to pull this one in a little closer right here, just to him right here. A little more yellow in that. Pull some of this one down here into there. Now I'm going to come back in and treat this one so it starts to look like that foot. And you just put a little piece of this here. And I'm going to pull this toe down here. And there's his thumb right there. So you see that he's got that leg up and he's walking. So no sketch here today. Just pull this in and made it work a little bit. Okay, I'm going to beef this up just a smidge right here with the little shadows down his back. It looks very much like a Christmas tree laid on its side. And in fact, if you're painting Christmas trees or you're painting wilderness trees, take a look at what you'd have there. I'm going to go grab a little of this black right here. There's a little black right there. And I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to touch an eye right there. Whoops. My brush tipped back into the yellow. So whoops is what means, okay, it didn't work like I wanted it to. So there it is right there. There's a little eye. And then I'll come back in and I'll roll in a little bit behind this. And there's that. I want to come in and grab a little more of this red right here with the brush. And I want to pick up a little cleaner wattle coming in where it closes down like this. And then just a little box ear right there. Okay. So I'm coming in there, putting some of that down, letting some of this brown come in. Come back here. I love that blue piece. It just died out right there. I'm going to leave it. And then I suddenly have this variant. I'm going to show you something I'm going to do here in just a second. But I'm going to grab a little bit of green black right here. And I'm just going to use my brush. I think you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to use my brush. And I literally am barely putting any pressure. Excuse me. I'm barely putting any pressure on this green black, which is giving me kind of a Payne's gray look. You see that? And I'm doing what I would do if I had my pen. I'm sort of cross-hatching, but I'm cross-hatching with a brush. And what's happening is it's widening out. This was dry paper. I didn't wet my paper to start with. I just kept it dry. I want a little more shadow right here, though, right here, where the back side of him, maybe the light's coming down this way. It couldn't be because this is too brighter, so that's okay. It's a rooster. I missed my light. I should have called that early on, and I didn't. Now I'm going to grab up this paper towel right here. It's been over 25 years. All people with special needs. I worked at preschool. I want to read some of your quotes today. I can't wait to read some of your quotes today and respond back. My head's been down here, so I'm using a There we go. Look at that. All right, I erased some of that in there because I wanted a lighter spot in that leg coming down. And I want a little bit of this blue out right there. And I want a little bit of this green to be daubed on there with my paper towel. And so why? I just felt that way when I looked at it. I thought I really want a little bit of texture in here more than the paper, the way the liquid paint came in. And so now I'm going to take my smaller brush and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to doctor up his beak just a little bit. It looks a little too much like a fold on an envelope. And I'm going to come in here and get some of this down. I want a little bit of dark right here. And I haven't used my titanium white, but I'm getting ready to right now. And that's why I wanted to lighten this up. I'm going to drop a little piece right there and just let it roll. I'm going to drop a little bit right on the leg. So here's a drop from up above, boom, and there's a drop right there, and maybe another drop. Okay, so 3 drops of titanium white, and then I'm just going to touch it with a damp brush, and I'm going to pull it down, I think, down toward the earth like this. I'm going to tip this up just a little bit, and I'm letting it run down. You see it? I haven't touched it yet, and it's moving. You see it heading down the leg? Look at it go. I'm so tempted, but I'm being steadfast here. Now this one I'm going to sweep back a little bit, just like this. I'm sweeping this one back, and watch it follow the water. And this one I'm going to bring it around in a curve like this. And this one, I'm going to turn it upside down like this and let this white right here roll up into this green and just break some areas that would be highlighted like fingerlings of a lake. You know, all the little tributaries. That's kind of where this is going right here. This is making a little tributary. And it's really what this is. You're creating, think of yourself as playing in a creek as a child, and you're just damming up one area and you're letting the water go somewhere else. And that's what I'm doing here. All of these are perfect. This is a perfect topo map tributary of a river. I love that so much. I love it when it happens. I love it the way it works. I do the same thing with a little blue and a green sometimes up here. Look at this. Just by dragging my brush down, and then maybe if I just wanted it to go a little farther, watch this, I'll pull back this way with water, or I'll push that way with water. And I've got that. I want a little more. Now, you see what happened while I was holding the thing up, I had more red up here than I needed, so watch what happens. Perfect. I had to erase a little red out of that beak, all right? And if that's too thin for me, as in not bold enough, I'll go in and just put one more spot of yellow, just a tiny, just touch the end of the dropper, didn't even squeeze it to it. And I'll let that come back in. I like the beak to be kind of bold. And I also like to have a little dirt on the beak. I mean, he's been picking up bugs in the ground, okay? And so now, the only reason I'm going to introduce, there's no reason. Done. Forget that, what I was going to say. I was going to say the only reason that I would pick up any pin on this is to put the details in. But I think I'm going to do that with my little brush and a spot of titanium. Okay, so this whole thing about surprise is I didn't know how this was going to turn out. You see, so I allowed myself, who pays thousands of roosters, to still be surprised by the look of a rooster. I didn't know I was going to get the shine of these colors right here. I didn't know I was going to get this little touch of blue that made almost a little bit of royal amethyst color there. I didn't know this green was going to brush out like it did. I knew what this one was going to do because I've dropped blue on red before, so I wasn't surprised. So I said I want to drop one here. I didn't know how this was going to follow that holiday. Nothing on the paper right there. And look, it literally is like a hard line in a forest. This is where there's no water at all on this painting. No color, no water. That's just the white paper. And look what happens. The ink comes to there. The liquid watercolor comes to there. And it's just like, that's it. So for some reason, when I splattered water, it took that edge and it stayed there. The reason is because, welcome to God's creation, gravity. You know, there's viscosity has a certain limit that it can push for, and then it just stops. Fascinating how this, and you must, I think must, and I don't say this word very often when I'm doing workshops or my classes, you must be surprised by your artwork every now and then. Just let it surprise you. And if it didn't turn out well, don't throw the idea away. Try it again, okay? So there's something that bothers me here, and I'll show you what it is. No, it doesn't. I'm going to leave this leg to the outside. So this is going to be open. This leg's going to be closed off. So I'm going to reach in here and get a little bit of this, and I'm going to close this leg off just a little bit. I'm still using my painting right now as my work palette. You noticed? I have not reached over. I haven't even taken the lid off of my watercolors today. I haven't even popped this over. They're still dry as a bone. As a matter of fact, I've painted most of this without any water. I have about maybe an ounce of water in this mason jar. Maybe an ounce of water. And I haven't dipped it in my tea glass yet either, or cup. I might before it's over with. Now I'm just grabbing a little bit of this here because I want a little darkness in that too. So I'm going to pull in another darker line right there. So I'm reaching up here and getting some dark from here. This is an number O, if there's a number O. Yasutoma bamboo brush, Cheap Joe's. I love their stuff. Still talk to Phoebe sometimes. I know some of you still watch. I tune in every now and then and just see some of you still watch Karen's show that Yasutoma does live. I think it's on Friday afternoon. Yeah, I know it is. Friday afternoons. In fact, I tuned in yesterday and it had just left the airwaves. I was late. I was going to pop in and say hi. All right, so I'm going to need, it looks like a little more black here. This is beginning to dry up. I don't know if I'm going to have enough black to do it. I might. That's a little wet spot right there. I bet if I wet that just a little bit, it'd come back to life. Watch this. Oh, we got a little bit of green in it. I like it. Okay, I probably got enough now to do toenails and some. That's still just a bit damp. I can't do that yet. All right, so you have to wait on this sometimes to get in here. I think you can still see what I'm doing. Yeah, there's that. Let's go in here and get a little more of this. Come in here, come there. And the reason I'm building this leg up darker is because it's underneath. I don't want a ton of shadow there because I don't worry about too much of that perspective, but because I do flat art most of the time anyway. Well, that's what my art teacher always said. Your art is flat. I didn't have an art teacher. I was just kidding. Okay, maybe I should have had one. Okay, I'm going to actually go back and drop one more little drop of black ink right here. I'm just going to drop one little drop right there. That ought to do it right there. Now, while that spot runs out, I'm going to use that as my palette right here, and I'm just going to go back in here and get a little extra, depth in these lines. And I'm going to do a little bit of a spur right here. You know, roosters have spurs, trust me. My mom was lacerated dearly with one who became the stew that evening. I remember that. My dad said, "You go take care of Big Red." I knew what he meant. He won't spur her again. Look what's happening. Look how that's branched out. Man, come on. Let me see if I can get in a little closer and just let you see what's going on here. Look at this. Okay. Do you hear my voice? I'm not making this up. I'm surprised. Pat Lightbody says, "Often surprised myself with how much I don't like a piece that I've done." And Pat, notice that I didn't quantify or qualify your surprise, your astonishment. Ugh. That's terrible. Oh, I'll never do that again. Okay, what did you just learn? You learned a lot. This is why this is problem solving. And then sometimes you might go, I just discovered, I have a friend who paints on this show who sold a painting this week that he sent to me. And I said, "Dude, stop painting what you were painting and start painting more of those." And it was awesome. Was I surprised? Some, but not really, because he's been working towards surprising himself for a while. And he's been searching for the right combination of paper versus water versus color and letting them do what they do. And he's also been hunting his style. And I think that concept is what has pulled him to this new little, and I said, here's for a season. Everything's for a season, people. You know, I'm painting 2,000 bees right now, but I'm just painting them for a little season. And who knows what I might paint next. Okay, now I've got this black up here, and I don't want this big old hole. It looks like I shot a hole in him, so I'm going to take it, and I'm going to put in a couple little wing definition pieces with that, and just let them work right in here. I'm going to use that to get myself a little shadow right here and underneath of these. And then I'm going to pull this piece right here just like this. I want a little more water on that, and I might come in just a second and take a couple pieces of this out. Once again, grab my little paper towel and just go boom, 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 and I think that's dark enough. And this bothers me just a little bit right here. It looks like the shoulder's too big, and I need a little bit of red to take that out right there. Okay. And I need a little bit more yellow right there. That's what I need. I'm missing that yellow on the back end of this bird. How did I know that? I don't know. I didn't. I just guessed at it. All right. So there we go. All right. Let me back out on this now. What a fun painting to do. All right. Okay. Can't leave well enough alone. Jason says I'm fussing now. Yeah, no. All right, so here we go. What I would like is maybe if I pulled a little more spot of that black and separated this beak just a little bit right here with a little shadow underneath. See there? Now I'm just doing some details that you would do, and then I'm going to put a little spot here, and I'm going to come back. Once this is dry, I'm going to come back and heighten that. Right now it's too wet on the beak to get a little bit of a nose vent right there. Or is it to get a little bit of an eyelash or anything else that roosters might have if they have eyelashes? I guess they have feathers. All right, but you understand where I'm headed with this, and that's a fun little way to paint. This is going to have a little more detailed black on it once it dries. Right now there's way too much water in this paper. And my paper is a little wavy like this, okay? But I'm going to promise you, you think this rooster needs a bee conversation? Yeah, well, I was just going to cut the paper, but maybe you're right. Okay, so let's just do a little bee conversation. All right, let's see. Let's go back and do this way. Let's put a little bit of yellow there. Let's put a little bit of black here. And let's see if that's enough to do a bee out of. All right, here we go. All right, so here we go. Let's do the black part of the bee first. So here he goes right here. I'm going to turn this around and paint this bee toward me. And I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to paint him just like this. I think I'm going to do this as a bumblebee. Yeah, I think that's going to be good right there. And let's do his leg here. By the way, painting bees with this brush is really fun because, man, I got a big old palette down there now. Look at that big old block of paint I'm painting from. And so who would do this right to their painting? Just put a big spot. I know who would. Sorry. Who would do that? Well, apparently you would. Okay, so. Oh, you see that bee coming together? Now watch this. I'm going to come right in here with a little bit of this. And then I'm just going to just sketch these wings out just like this. Look at that. Whoa! Oh, man. Okay, here's what happens when you've done 2,000 bees. It doesn't mean that you're going to do a great one every time, but I tell you what it does. It knows that I know all the parts and where they should be. Okay, you got it? All right. I need another paper towel. I've used up everything I've had here. Plus, hear that? I'm trying to find water in the well. All right, let's go grab a little bit of yellow from that spot that I dropped in right there and see if we got enough yellow to bring in this bee. Oh, yeah, look at that right there. Don't want a whole lot because bumblebees don't have it. He'll be a honeybee. What the heck? He looks like a good honeybee. Ooh, I like it. I like this. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in here and just take a little bit of that spot out. And then I'm going to blend that spot in. And here's where, as Jason says, we got to get fussy again and bring it in. But I like it. I like that shadow. Maybe that's what I needed all along, and I was just afraid to do it before. Afraid? Who's afraid of your watercolor? All right, I need a little Payne's Gray. Where am I going to get it? Touch of this white. And then just put some of this right in there. There's a little bit of blue-green gray right in there. And I want a little bit of detail in my wing. You have to make those noises or it'll never work. Okay. All right, there's my little bee conversation. See? Not bad. And I like the way he's, what I don't have is a little bit of orange. Shucks. See if I can grab enough orange right here from this yellow and a little piece of red right here and this. Yeah, to get some pollen on there. Look at that. Created it right there. And that's why you do color wheels sometimes. Hey, done. Might splatter this. I'm going to quit. I like it. 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 So, was I surprised by this? Yeah. Thanks, Denise. It did need a bee. Denise is a bee painter and a half. I'll tell you that. She and Pat too. I love their bees. I love their expressive bees. My bees tend to have more of a body expression. Her bees tend to have a facial expression, and I personally don't want to be that close to a bee. No, but it's the eyes, and that's you heard me say that before. All right. Basically, what you've got there is a piece of paper that's 10 by 14. It's great paper. It's ultra white. And here's what you have. You have just dropping some color on here. And because I painted so many of these, 8:57, more than 20 minutes every day, but literally 20 minutes a day is going to change your art life if you really want to change your art life. Use art to have a better brain function. Use art to communicate with more people. Use art to share with others. Man, I've given away so many small pieces of painting, small paintings this week. My little notebook, I have put paper in it 3 times this week. Okay, so in this little Buffalo Jackson journal, I carry this paper cut into small 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 squares or whatever they fit. Oh, there's a bee hiding out down in there. Look at that. Look at that. Stop being behind. Okay. So that's a little scrap piece. And then I also carry a business card. There's one. This sometimes winds up being my business card, but if people don't have time, I'll have them shoot this QR code with a little rooster on it, and that'll take them to a little hello video that's on my website, and people can find me that way. And it has been a fun way for me to connect with people. It's been a fun way we were at a friend's house last night who invited Carol over for a dinner. Oh my gosh, the most delicious lamb chops. They've been on the spit forever. I should have had a photo of just showing you how they were roasted. Just beautiful lamb chops. And he pulled them just at the right time. Fresh vegetables. It was fabulous. And so while I said, man, put me in, coach. I'm here. I can cook. He goes, sit, enjoy. And I sat there for a while, and I just grabbed my little piece of paper, and I did this little bee and one of my Rudbeckia flowers. I call them Rudbeckia, R-O-O. But the point is that I just left it for it. And their house, they moved in, and I said, I'm not going to splatter this. It just needs to be the white and the black and the yellow. They'll accentuate your coffee area. And boom, it went right there. And so from time to time, I love doing that. The other night, Juliana was our waitress at this little restaurant, and she saw me sketching. She brought me a menu, a little dessert menu, and she said, hey, do you want dessert? And I said, well, probably not, but I want to see what you're serving. And so she said, well, I'll take it back. And I said, no, you can't do that. You've given it to me now. And it was about this big. And I said, so on the back of it, I'm going to paint you a picture. And she goes, what? So I just did one of my little shrimp. And then she saw this and said, I don't understand. Where did you get that? And so we talked about art and talked about her life and going to school. And she wants to be a graphic artist. And when she works at this restaurant, she's going to junior college for a couple of years. And she wants to, and I'm going like, do it. She wants to work for a magazine. I'm going like, do it, surprise yourself and go do it. And so that's the fun stuff of getting out and about. So, share the joy in watercolor. Hey, so it's about time for me to move on here and go pick up a dog from my daughter. And dog sit for the day, and we have a kind of a fun day planned. Not much, which is great. We've just been so busy. I challenge you to find some of this and make some cards out of it. If you haven't yet, just do it. just paint on it. It really is fun. Jason, you should. All right, Jason, I got a challenge for you, my friend. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to just come up with a little hanger that this will hang. This sounds really stupid, but I think it could be fun. Put a little something through here, and on the ends of each of it, put a little piece of a cord, like paratrooper cord. So you don't want and like just a short little rod through there, and then put a piece of paracord on either end like this, and um, then hang that around your neck and let it come out over your sketch pad like this. And then go to one of these travels you're going on and just sketch little different parts of the skyline. And then and then take your clothespin, drop it on the end here. And as it goes over your sketchboard, it just continues to feed down. And you keep pulling off more. And you're left-handed, so you're going to be going the other way. And do about 3 feet of this. I'll tell you what Carol said when she saw her card. She said, I'm going to post this on a board or a frame, and I want to keep this card. And it made my day because it's part of our story, and she's been part of my life. And so, but just rolling those things up and sending them to people is so fun. And thank you, Tom, for inspiring me and surprising me with a fun card that was in the shape that I never expected. And so there it is right there. That's it. That's her birthday card. Shh. And this is about... Whoa, it's a little over 48 inches long. So 4 feet of a birthday wish. And everybody's life has at least 3 or 4 feet in it of little stories that they can do. All right. Okay. Cool idea. Keep going. Your visual of Jason doing that in North City makes me laugh. I'm down for the challenge. I'll make it functionally stylish. Yeah, you don't want to look like you're playing a harmonica in the band, as one of those guys like a busker. But at the same time, can you imagine if you just had kind of a cool little thing that kind of come down and it's there, and you might have to take a little clip with you so that you can stop paper from just unrolling. So it needs to have a little friction. So you need to peel it off. So, sometimes they'll slip a rubber band around the mat. I could design this thing. It's really fun. Like this. Here's your little rubber band. And so it stops the flow here. And then you sketch it here. Then it stops it here. So your paper just doesn't unwind. You don't want to go walking down the street looking like you just come out of a public restroom and the toilet paper stuck to your shoe. Now, there's a picture you don't want. Hey, I appreciate you all. Thanks for letting me surprise you a little bit with art today. I've enjoyed my tea. The tea that I've tried after 23 years is PG Tips. And you go like, oh, yeah, of course. But they've come out with a new brand. It's bold. It's called PG Tips Bold. All right, so that's the new one. So if you want to try some new bold tea, and I like it. It comes in a little pyramid. It doesn't stack in my tea box as well because I use a little chip can, and my flat bags fit right in there like this, and that's so wonderful for me. But I think you'll like it, okay? All right, I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. I love it. Polar plunge and lake. Oh, no. I ain't doing no polar plunge. Not today, anyway. All right, blessings to you all. See you. I'll post this somewhere. Somebody will want this big old Roo. He's 10 by 14, and now he has a bee on him. And I'm going to clean the bee up with a few more little lines here once this dries. I got to do some work on it today. Blessings to you all, and appreciate you. I'm out of here. Where is my harmonica?